We are live.
Welcome everybody to the November 17th Planning Commission for the City of Petaluma. I am Heidi Bauer, the Chair of the Planning Commission. We will now call this meeting to order. Evelyn, will you please take roll call?
Bauer.
Here.
Alonzo.
Here.
Hooper.
Here.
Marzo.
Here.
Potter.
Here.
McDonald.
Here.
And we have one vacant seat.
Okay. Thank you, Evelyn. We will now move on to general public
Yesterday,
comment.
the M Group notified the public that they will conduct a drive test the next few weeks. This is excellent news, and this is evidence that will go into the public record to show that there is no significant gap in service and no need for the proposed cell tower on top of the Petaluma Creamery. Great job to the city for getting this done. Tonight, we found out that the tolling agreement will again be pushed out for the 6th time in over 17 months, and will push this project to March 2nd, which is just under 2 years for this project time. This email also stated that the reason for this extension is for the drive test to conclude and for the applicant to provide additional information requested by the city. Please make this time count. The city is asking for more important information because it still has not been given what it originally asked for. The applicant is not giving information on purpose to keep pushing out the process to their advantage. The longer this goes on, the easier it is for them to address all of these continuous issues. If the city is really interested in getting all of the relevant information that is needed, then please show the residents who count on you that you will come through with all of the following. Get the raw drive test data into the public record as soon as possible. Please require the call logs that you have been asking for over 3 months into the public record as soon as possible. This evidence is just as vital as the drive test that you just ordered. Require the applicant to improve and produce an honest alternate site analysis. The project at the Creamery is not the least intrusive site available, and there are alternate spots that are available and more appropriate. Getting all of this done and into the record gives time for the city staff to know what is really going on and gives them what they need to know to make the right decision. You now have even more time to get all of the vital data that is needed. And this town and its residents are counting on you to get this done in order for the right decisions to be made. Please make this time count. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Samantha Buller. I am speaking to the proposed Verizon cell tower. Here is a finding you can make. The Creamery project has not met the requirements of Petaluma's municipal code, specifically section 14.44.190C, which states no telecommunication facility shall be installed unless a finding is made that no other location is technically feasible. The Petaluma Creamery is the wrong place for this project. It is a 1-block historical light industrial property that is surrounded by 28 square miles of residential and historic areas, which makes the project inappropriate and not consistent with the Petaluma general plan. The applicant completed an inaccurate alternate site analysis considering 11 other options. Most of them were businesses that the applicant said were too small and therefore not feasible. This simply is not true and not supported by the evidence in the record. Property number 8 on the list was feasible and appropriate, yet the analysis used loaded words like cramped, difficult, and does not meet our goal. The location is feasible in every sense of the word, especially as multiple other wireless carriers already use the same site, which is the very definition of feasibility. Property number 11, a second feasible site where the owner was actually interested and was in the search ring, had no reasons to disqualify it. All that was written was an incomplete sentence with no substantial written evidence. The City of Petaluma has worked hard to pass good and protective ordinances. We can rely on these ordinances to say no to this inappropriate wireless facility. If the applicant will not comply with these ordinances, then the city has the right to hold them accountable or to not do business with them at all. An alternate site is the answer for this project because Petaluma does not have a need for a wireless facility at the Creamery. Thank you for your time.
Hi, good evening, Planning Commission. I would like to direct your attention to an email I sent you yesterday, which is basically a written version of my comment tonight, but it does have links of all the sources that I will reference. The Verizon major wireless facility is about profit at the expense of people. It's about the lease revenue and about Verizon's high profit business plan to deploy a redundant infrastructure for telecommunication service, which is actually a wireless infrastructure that is going to be delivering so much more than its FCC allowed outdoor voice calls. This project is about getting this facility installed and then turning up the signal. It's not about 4G because legally once installed, its power output can be increased without city approval or even them telling the city, as long as size of equipment follows FCC Order 20-153, which says once a facility is installed, local governments are obligated to approve modification results. That's part of the Spectrum Act of 2012. And it states that antennas can be modified to up to 10% higher or up to 20 feet higher, whichever is greater. And it allows more equipment to be added with no cumulative limitation at all. The fact is this applicant will not have to go get another permit to go to 5G. The upgrade will be purely an administrative process. Further, the FCC does not keep track of individual antennae on towers. I sent you a link to a discussion between a site developer and the FCC. It states that only towers above 200 feet are going to be registered with the FCC. That's not this one. This one's not even 70 feet tall. The FCC does not check any of the towers. They don't check for additional antenna, whether they've been added or not, to ensure that any guidelines are being met. It is the licensee's responsibility to take into account fields that are already existing before they add their antennas to the tower. There's no baseline measurement even. So to stop this, the city must not trust the applicant or Verizon. Some in city council are saying that they've heard from the consultants of Verizon that their understanding is another permit would be required to go to 5G. That's not true. Do not trust telecom law firm. Do not trust any consultants that have a financial interest in this project. Please refer to my email for more information. Thank you very much.
Yesterday, the M Group notified the public that they will conduct a drive test in the next few weeks. This is excellent news, and the evidence will go into the public record to show that there is no significant gap in service and no need for the proposed cell tower on top of the Petaluma Creamery. Great job to the city for getting this done. In the same email, the city also said that they have requested more information from the applicant. In this new ask for information, did the city again request the 12-month anonymous call logs for a 3-mile radius around the creamery? These records were requested by the city over 3 months ago, and the applicant still has not produced them. Why not? Why is the city allowing this bad faith to still happen? These call logs are just as important as the drive test and are a vital piece of evidence that need to be put in the public record for this project. This report can be generated in a matter of minutes and will show how many calls were made, connected, and not connected. In short, it tells the real story that there is no significant gap in coverage and there is no need for this tower. As this task is very easy, why does the applicant continue to not comply with this ask? The M Group has repeatedly asked for this from the applicant, and they still are not complying. The city must require these logs to be put in the record ASAP. Most likely the applicant will give this data up, but not until the very last minute, so that the city or public does not get a fair chance to look at them and show what the real level of service is. Now that they're asking for more time, these call logs are even more vital to the city and its residents to show there is no significant gap in coverage. We ask again that the city require these call logs without any further delay and put them in the public record for everyone to see. Please require this vital information now and hold them accountable. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. The proposed 16 antenna cell tower on top of the Petaluma Creamery is not about 4G. and if installed, will quickly become a 5G tower. Citizens of Petaluma have asked the city to clarify whether this tower will be 5G and what is the legal process. We understand that the proposed tower initially would be 4G, but when the applicant chooses to increase to 5G, are they required to apply for a new permit? Does this permit come from the planning department? Does city staff have a say in this? Does the community have a say in this? These questions need to be answered immediately. There is clear indication that the applicant would be upgrading from 4G to 5G as soon as they possibly can. In several emails from the city to the public and to other city officials, they have been stating that this tower will not be 5G and that the applicant has said they have an understanding with the city to get a permit if or when they go to 5G. This information is not correct. The applicant legally can upgrade their towers to 5G without getting a permit. Once installed, the tower can be modified with increased power output from 4G to 5G without city approval or even informing the city, as long as size of equipment follows FCC Order 20-153, which says, once facility is installed, local governments are obligated to approve modification requests, including under Section 6409A of the Spectrum Act of 2012. The applicant has already not abided to many city codes, has not responded with the information city has requested, and has acted in bad faith many times. With this cell tower proposal, based on history, it is doubtful the applicant is transparent in their true motives for installing the tower. If this tower goes up, the city will not have any control what happens after that, because the applicant can legally increase the power output from 4G to 5G without the city approval or even informing them. And it's worth repeating that it's most important for the city to thoroughly review the FCC Order 20-153, which says, once facility is installed, local governments are obligated to approve modification requests, including under Section 6409A of the Spectrum Act of 2012. It is not a good idea to have a 5G cell top on top of Petaluma Creamery. Thank you very much for your consideration and time.
Good evening. The Petaluma Creamery is not a safe place to add the electrical transformers necessary to supply the huge power requirements of the proposed Verizon telecom facility. In June of this year, a fire broke out in a gas-fired boiler directly under the proposed site. There was no investigation by the fire department, so we do not know the cause, but we do know that there was no fire alarm triggered. Another unexplained fire occurred in 2016. In 1975, the neighborhood surrounding the creamery came close to being destroyed by a massive fire which decimated the creamery itself. We were told by the consultant hired by the creamery to fix its many problems that the current ammonia cooling system is old and would never be permitted today due to potential hazards to the neighborhood. Ammonia is extremely explosive and toxic. Every 5 years, a review is required to make sure the ammonia system is safe. Coincidentally, the timing was such that this was the year for the inspection, and this time an outside agency was brought in to do the review. It was discovered that there were no functioning ammonia leak sensors and that the ammonia detection system function is unknown by the facility personnel. Further, the report noted that equipment is in a state of gross noncompliance and has been identified as an immediate safety hazard, unquote. This raises serious questions about what kind of review occurred 5 years ago that this is just being discovered now. It also raises serious questions about what kind of oversight will occur this next 5 years when the creamery is not being monitored. Right now, even knowing that many eyes are on the creamery, its workers nonetheless allowed debris to accumulate to such degree as they were cited by the fire department last week. The city should simply not be issuing permits for electrical equipment that would make an accident in this facility even more dangerous to the neighborhood. Thank you for your time and consideration.